Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wa salatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Jazakumullahu khairan for joining. My name is Adil and I'll be one of your hosts for this evening. And I'll be joined by my colleagues Imran and Tahmid. And today's webinar, as I'm sure you all know, is about Rasul week. Everything you need to know from what it is to the daily competitions and how to succeed over the next 7 days or 7 to 10 days for your campaigns, inshallah. So we will begin with a very short video, just introducing Rasul Week to you all. If you have questions, feel free to drop them in the group chat and we can respond to them either in the chat or at the end of the session. There will be a chance for you to come off mute and ask us any questions you have. So without further ado, I'll just play our introductory video.
Here.
Assalamu alaikum everyone again. So thank you for watching this introductory video. But just in one line, what is Rasul Week? Many of you have heard of our previous challenges such as Dhul Hijjah and Ramadan challenge, but this is something completely new. For the first time ever, Launch Good have partnered with Celebrate Mercy to launch Rasul Week. And there's two sides to this that you've seen in the video. One side is all about educating people about the Prophet ﷺ and his sunnahs. And the other side is implementing those sunnahs and supporting causes that emulate the legacy and the lessons that the Prophet ﷺ taught us. Now, before I move on, obviously we are in Rabi al-Awwal, but this program isn't to commemorate the birth or the death of the Prophet ﷺ. Rather, it is an opportunity for us to implement his sunnah and learn more about him. So, like I said before, we have the education side, and many of you are already watching our daily webinars that are in conjunction with Celebrate Mercy. But from this Saturday, the 7 days of giving begins. And inshallah, from this weekend, there'll be an opportunity for campaigns and charities and organizations like yourselves to take part in the daily giving contests where, inshallah, thousands of different Muslims from around the world will be supporting various initiatives that can help orphans, supporting the empowering of women, from universal mercy and social justice, and many, many others. And many of these causes are things that you yourselves are directly involved with. Like I said, Rasul Week has begun in terms of education, where in October 22nd, so we've had a few daily webinars already, but from this weekend, the 7 days of giving begin. And each day is dedicated to one sunnah theme. So from Saturday, the whole day will be around orphan relief. So the webinar will be talking about orphan relief campaigns, and it will be a day where various campaigns to do with orphans will be featured and promoted across the Launch Good channels. And thereafter, we'll be looking at civic engagement, sacred knowledge, women's empowerment, community building, social justice, and universal mercy. So whilst every day has a theme that will be promoted, for the daily contest, which many of you are here to learn more about, any of your campaigns, provided they fit one of these themes, you can compete on any of those days. And my colleagues Imran and Tahmid will explain that in more detail. So I mentioned I'm joined by some colleagues of mine, so I'm going to hand it over to Brother Imran. We'll talk to you in a bit more detail about this daily contest. So Assalamu alaikum, Imran.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you, Adil. So, the exciting part for which many of us have joined today, the daily contests. Now, many of us probably been involved in a daily contest with Launch Good in the past, whether that would be through Ramadan or Dhul Hijjah. And this is quite similar with a few differences. So, let's go through with it. Learning and giving. This is what the Rasul Week is all about. Of course, as Adil mentioned, we have the first 5 days, which we're currently in at the moment, where we are having webinars and knowledge videos being taken place with Celebrate Mercy. And you can catch up on those on our Facebook at Launch Good. So let's go right into it. So daily contest. Starting Saturday this weekend, um, we have the daily contest for the two leaderboards, one for the most amount raised, so highest amount raised, and the other for the most amount of supporters. So they'll be running in conjunction with each other. Um, for each campaign, I'll go through the rules in a moment, and we'll cover how and you could win and take part in these. But as you can see here, there are prizes amounts given from the highest prize of $3,000 to second prize of $2,000 to $1,000 and 750 and $700 and then $300, and they are across both leaderboards. So each campaign can win one of these amounts up to up to $8,000 in total. So here we are, the daily contest rules. So the first one begins Saturday this weekend. So for UK time, that's 3 a.m. in the morning, and the first 24 hours will end 3 a.m. the next day. However, we understand there is a time change from British Summer Time to GMT this weekend. So for the first day, which is the first Saturday competition, which will end on Sunday, 3 a.m., we have the clock goes back an hour. So we actually finish at, we start at 4 a.m. Sorry. So we start at 4 a.m. on Saturday and we'll end at 3 a.m. on Sunday. And then it's normal after that. So it's 3 a.m. On to 3 a.m. every other day after that until Saturday next week. Okay. Now the leaderboard can be checked every hour, where the updates will be given every hour. And you can view this at launchgood.com/Rasul. And so you can see your position and how well your campaign is doing against the others across the platform. We've covered the time there, so it's 3 a.m. to 3 a.m. GMT every hour, every hourly updates. And as we mentioned, you can win on multiple days, not just one. So for every campaign, so if you have one or two campaigns, for every campaign you have, you can win up to $8,000 across the total competition. How that is, for example, your campaign comes first on the first day of the contest, you get $3,000. It comes first again on the second day of the contest, you get a further $3,000. And if you take part on a third day and you come second or first, you'll get a further $2,000. So that's where your cap is at $8,000 per campaign. And of course, you can win on one leaderboard per day. So if you happen to come across on both leaderboards on the same day, you can only be awarded the highest prize on one of those. If you come first on both, of course, you'll only be awarded one. So the total winnings are capped at 8, as we mentioned, and donors must be unique. So when it comes to unique supporters, your donors must be unique. What we mean by that is that if one person donates £5, in the first hour, and they go on to later donate another £5 or another £10, that same user cannot make multiple donations. And if they do, they can make donations and it will count towards the campaign. However, it won't count towards the leaderboard for unique supporters. So if you have different people in your house, your brothers and sisters or your siblings, and each person should be making their own donation through their login, through their email, or through their bank card. And another note to take here, we understand that some organizations may be running, or some campaigns may be running a marketing package throughout Rasul Week, and donations which come through these marketing packages won't count towards the contest. And that's so we can be as fair as possible to all others. Okay, and so the next step is just to walk through the donation steps for those who aren't familiar with it. And when you are engaging with your team and your supporters who might come across this page for the first time or might come across making a transaction on Launchgood for the first time, this is just so you're comfortable and you understand how this works. So, for example, we'll take the campaign here, join the with Kim, and you go on to click in support, you have your giving levels options. And then what somebody can do is, of course, amend that. So if there's an amount that they want to donate that's not on the giving level, they can just click on the amount that says just helping, choose an amount. They can manually type an amount in. Okay. Um, and then that will go on to the next stage for their payment details. So they can log in if they're a user already, or they can sign up if they're not, or they can choose to donate as a guest, and where it will just ask for the card details and they go ahead. And so then it confirms the amount that they're donating. And then the final page there you see is the details it'll ask for. So it's a name, card number, email address, zip code, which is postcode, address, city, and the rest is continue and the payment's done. So it's, as you can see here, a very easy process for donors to make that payment. And you know, you could take some time to get familiar with this if you're not, so you can engage with your supporters if they have any hurdles or issues when making that donation on your campaign. So that takes us on to the next step. And this is more to do with giving you an insight into, you know, processes that we've seen work in the past when it comes to competitions like this, and how you can actually take advice from those onto leading a successful campaign on the daily contest. So I'll pass this on to Fahmid now, who will take you through some of the tips and strategies on how to do that.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope you are all well. So I'm going to be quickly talking through the tips and strategies. I'll try keep it as simple as possible, and then afterwards we can wrap it up and also take some questions. So here are some tips and strategies that you may want to implement for your campaigns. So as you know, the campaign day itself is a 24-hour campaign. However, you should not wait for the day itself to begin all your plan and prep. So today is Thursday, which means we have exactly a day and a half now, if you're doing it on Saturday. However, if you're doing it later on in the week, then you have a few more days to prep. One thing I would really recommend is to host a team meeting with your staff and volunteers and just recap what you've been told today. We've also got a resource pack Excel that we can share with you with some templates and things like that. So we can share that with you. You can share that with your team, brief them, get everyone onto the same page. Run the rules of the competition with them, keep them motivated, and just remind them that it is a 24-hour campaign. Now, of course, someone's not going to be able to give all 24 hours, but perhaps pick a day where you feel that you and your teammates have the most time to give. So that could be a weekend, could be a weekday. It's whatever's best for you. One thing you should do before your day is you should task each volunteer in your team to get just 10 people to commit to £5 or more. So what tends to happen is you will send a lot of messages out on the day, and then you might have to explain and tell your campaign. So if you can do the prep work now, where it could be your family, your friends, and you tell them that, look, my organization, we're going to be doing this contest on so-and-so date. Are you prepared to give £5 on the day? And then if they have any questions, then you can answer them now rather than wait for the day itself when you want to really be calling and messaging as many people as possible. Share the campaign link with your supporters on the day of the contest, not before. So you may have active campaigns or you still be in the process of making your campaign. However, we've noticed that if you share your campaign now, the link, then some people may donate prematurely. They might donate today or they might donate on the wrong day and think that's done. Remember, the challenge is 24 hours. So I wouldn't send the link to your campaign page now. So on the day itself, first and foremost, we should all lead by example. So you and your team should be the first supporters of the campaign. I feel like this is important, just personally as well, because then you're leading by example, you've got your donation done, and then you can start asking your friends, families, and others to donate as well. Easy wins include family members or staff, so get their support in as early as possible. So especially if you have family members in the same household, they should be the easiest of wins. So your parents, siblings, spouse, anyone like that. So try and get the easier ones done first. It also builds momentum on your page for others to then see that, oh, things are kicking off and let's join in. Factor in work, sleep, and time for food. So on the resource pack that we are going to share with you, we have given a outline of a timeline that you can follow. So which includes all of these things. So for instance, if you're doing it on a weekday, especially, just be wary that people might have work. Perhaps somewhere between 12 to 2 p.m. might be a good time when people are on their lunch breaks, after 5 o'clock when people finish, and preferably, the campaign does last till 3 a.m. But just be careful about messaging anyone after 10 p.m. because some people may go to sleep early. Phone calls are by far the most effective method. We've noticed that a lot of people, they seem to think that sending mass broadcasts out or copying and pasting forwarded messages onto group chats is effective. It's simply, the easiest way for sure to get the mass messaging out. However, we've realized it's the least effective way. The good old-fashioned phone calls are by far the most effective method. So that's the tactic you should use, and leave broadcasts for perhaps later on in the day to see if you can pick up 1 or 2 extra donations. Post regular updates to motivate your team. Send screenshots of your hourly ranking, so you'd be able to see our leaderboard, and it will update itself every hour. So perhaps taking screenshots, showing your team. If you're first, then really, tell them you're doing a great job so far. Let's try keep it going. If you're second or third, you can motivate them saying, we're only 10 donations behind, 20 donations behind. So yeah, keep the group chat or your team group chat live, and keep it fun. So plenty of gifts, light humor, we've realized goes a long way. Moving on, after your win, inshallah. So one thing we realize is during the day of your challenge or contest, you may be very busy messaging as many people, calling as many people. So you may not have time to respond to everyone that donates. So after your 24 hours is up, the next day, I would highly recommend you go back to each and every donor that you know personally and just give them a little thank you. Thank you for donating. Share your result with them. If you can come up with a picture, that would be great. And if you do win, then celebrate it with your volunteers, your friends, your wider team, because it's a great achievement. This is a global competition. Bear that in mind. So, coming first would be amazing. But in the case that you don't come first, then, it's important to not be disappointed. Still make sure you thank everyone. And of course, as Brother Imran said before me and Brother Adil, you can take part in multiple days. So perhaps if you don't win the first day, you could say we're doing the second day. And one thing to bear in mind is that after your first day of campaign, a lot of people may read the messages late, so they might donate on the second day. We've noticed that you will get some spillover donations on the second day. So it's a thought to do it again on consecutive days, simply because on the second day, you will get some spillovers, regardless of if you campaign or not. So some resources from the Launch Good team. So having said all of that, me, Brother Adil, Brother Imran, we're always here. If you have any questions, we are happy to help. You should all be in some sort of group chat or another with us. So we are here as one of your resources. Then we are also going to share a resource pack that we've made. So an Excel spreadsheet, which is on the chat right now. So you can download it. You can use some of the templates we've made just to help you prep and plan. And there are also some links here that you may want to use. It's time for questions now. So everyone feel free to unmute yourself. And what I'll do is I'll pass you over to Brother Adil.
Jazakallah khair, Brother Tahmid. So just to reiterate what Tahmid was saying, your biggest resource or something that I'd like to emphasize and re-emphasize is the Launch Good team. Myself, Tahmid, Imran, Brother Zain, we're all here at your service because we want to see each of your campaigns do phenomenally well. A, because they're a fantastic cause and it uplifts members of our global community. But B, we also have some friendly competition with our brothers and sisters in the US, in Canada, in the Asia Pacific. And we love it when the United Kingdom does very, very well. So having said that, there are some really useful questions that are coming in. I'll just deal with the first one that we have from Brother Yusuf. Do you need to apply for each day? In theory, no, so long as your campaign is aligned to one of these Sunnah themes. Now, what does that mean? If you're interested in taking part and you have a campaign, get in touch with us. Speak to Tahmid, speak to Imran, speak to myself, contact us on the WhatsApp groups that you may be on, and we'll make sure that your campaign is featured on a dedicated page for whichever theme that it's relevant to. And here is an example in front of you. So we have a dedicated homepage for orphan relief where we're featuring multiple different campaigns that are to do with orphans. And we have very similar ones for civic engagement, sacred knowledge, universal mercy. And chances are most campaigns can fit into at least one of these themes. So please, step one, speak to us and we'll make sure you're featured on one of these pages. I just want to highlight one example of how this has gone very, very well. A charity, Al Mustafa Welfare Trust, many of you may have heard of them or come across them. They made their campaign page and it's featured on the orphan relief page. Even though the days of giving haven't started, the fact that they're featured on this page, they've received almost £500 in donations. That didn't cost them any money. It was just from the traffic that came to that page. So please, 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 even if you find that the competition is too difficult or out of your capacity, get in touch with us and we would love to feature your campaign on any one of these themed pages, and that is absolutely free. Now, that's step one. Once you're on one of these curated pages or these themed pages, you are eligible to compete on any one of those 7 days. So in theory, you could pick a day and then go for it without even letting us know. But my advice is, please do let us know what day you want to compete and we'll do our best to try and support you on that day. You've heard some tips from Tahmid and the team, but if you engage with us now, we can be part of that process where you're encouraging and motivating and educating not only your volunteers, but your own communities as well. Now, a couple of other updates from myself. Alhamdulillah, like I said, this is the first time we're delivering this Rasul week. Many of you have taken part in the Ramadan challenge, Giving Tuesday, the Dhul Hijjah challenge, but this is very new. And I'm sure you've seen some of the things that we've brought in that makes it different from those challenges. And we've already had 5,000 people sign up to receive daily updates about Rasul Week, the different themes, the different challenges, and they'll be hearing about all these different campaigns to do with the themes in front of you. And we hope that these by featuring your campaigns on these community pages or these themed pages, inshallah, some of those donors will be attracted to them and support them from wherever they are around the globe. I'm just going to see if there are any other questions.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Hi, so I wanted to ask, as a little person in the world of big fishes, I was wondering, what is the best advice for like the smaller campaigns and the smaller charities, basically? What would you say? Because it's a great time to build momentum, I found, with the audience, but it feels like I'm over-promising. So what advice would you give for that? Thanks.
Thank you. That's a brilliant question. And this is where these daily contests really come in handy for smaller organizations or newer campaigns. I think in terms of performing in this competition, the best advice I would give is, as Tahmid said before, make a team, have a team of 10, 20 people and ensure that each one of them have a list of contacts that they know, their brother, their sister, their mother, their friend, that if they were to ask them £5 on a particular day, that they would give. And in the resource pack that we've shared in the group chat, you'll actually find a template for that. So you can speak to your team and prepare all of that well in advance. It really comes down to the strength of people's individual networks, because as you know, you've all been in this sector for different organizations and for different lengths of time, but people give to a cause, but they also give because people that they know have asked them. So really for the smaller organizations that might not have huge mailing lists, really utilize your volunteers and the strength of your immediate networks. And just moving on, I think we have another question on the chat. You've set up a campaign a few days ago. Do you need to do anything else? So as long as a member of the team have your campaign link, we'll be able to ensure that it's featured on one of these themed pages. And once it's there, then you can go and take part in the challenge from day one. But please do engage with us and let us know what day you wish to take part so we can provide the best advice that we can. And I believe Tahmid wants to add something to that as well.
Just to jump in to what Brother Adil said there, I think it would be really good. There are 7 days, so 7 opportunities, and as Launch Good UK team, we want each of those 7 days to inshallah be won by a UK campaign. So it's, you know, it's really important you also let us know which day it is, so we try and balance that, so it's not a case where all of our UK charities are doing it on the same day. We'll try spread it out across the week. We'll work with you, and then having a more spread out system also means that us as the Launch Good UK team, on each day we can give, you know, charities more of our time, more advice, rather than having, say, 15 charities doing it on the same day. So I think it'd be really good if, you know, we'd work together, get a day, and spread everyone out through the week.
Thank you, Tahmid. We've had another question. Can donations be made via PayPal? So the only donations that qualify towards this contest have to be made on the Launch Good platform. So that's a direct card donation that's made on our site. So unfortunately, PayPal and other payment processes and methods will not count. They have to be a donation on the Launch Good platform. Another thing I'd like to mention is that these daily prizes that we are giving away, this is money that has come from Launch Good as well as Celebrate Mercy, who have been fundraising for this to make this a reality for all of you for many weeks now. So I hope that clarifies where the prize funds come from. Do we have any other questions, either on the chat, or you can come off mute and ask them directly as well?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
My question is that around the data, do we as charities get access to the data, and what's your role in the data?
That's a fantastic question. So for any person or organization that creates a campaign on the Launch Good platform, what happens is when donors donate to that campaign, they have an option to share their data with the campaign creator. So with your charity or your different organization, for example, their email or you know, their contact info, that kind of thing. Everybody that has a Launch Good page, so every organization, every charity, once you've logged in with your admin account, with that campaign page, you'll see a tab that says donors. If you click on that tab, you'll see all of the donor data that's available to you. Where any supporters or donors have chosen not to share their contact information or their email, that will be redacted, and it will say that the user has chosen not to share their information. You can also download that donor data in an Excel file format, and then you can use that along with, you know, your standard process for collecting and processing donor data. We've had another question in terms of the dates that this is running. So for the 7 days of giving, this starts on Saturday from 4 a.m. And then from Sunday, it will go back to 3 a.m. due to the clocks changing. So if you're not already aware, our clocks do change on Sunday in the early hours. So we move from British Summer Time to Greenwich Mean Time. And the time frame will be 24 hours. So you're not losing an hour in the first day. Rather, we have 1 hour technically repeated due to the change of clocks. And just to emphasize as well that in terms of the donations and donors, they must be unique. So the only way that we can make this fair for people is by donors either already having an account with Launch Good or a guest account that is a separate person with their own name, their own email, their own bank account. Unfortunately, in order for us to make this fair, we can't accept in terms of the competition, someone making a donation on behalf of other people with their own details, because for us, it will be too difficult to vet and ensure it's a fair playing field for all. Do we have any other questions, either on the chat or if you'd like to come off mute?
Hi, Fon again. Can you just explain about your marketing? I don't know, because I came in slightly late. Your kind of marketing upgrades and advice that you give, or the packages that you sell to kind of guide the charities into potentially winning the competition.
Yep, so great question. In terms of the Rasool with marketing packages, the deadline for applications has passed, and so it's no longer possible for someone to take out a package for the rest of Rasul week. However, if you get in touch with a member of the team, myself, Tahmid, Imran, Zain, we can provide advice in terms of how best to reach your audience and what kind of messaging, images, and media works well for campaigns during these competitions. But I must say that all those charities that do have marketing packages, any donations that come through Launch Good Marketing do not count towards the competition. So if your organization are running ads to your campaign, that's fine. But if Launch Good are doing that for you, or if we're promoting a particular campaign on the homepage or through our newsletter, those donations will be filtered out of the leaderboard and they won't count towards these competitions. Do we have any other questions? Fantastic. So I think the important thing to do is if you have a live campaign, speak to us to ensure that it's featured on the relevant theme page, and we can ensure that you know exactly when to compete, you're familiar with the resource pack that we've shared, and we can provide some advice and make sure everything is ready in time for the day that you wish to compete. If you don't have a campaign, but you're interested, please speak to us in the next 24 hours. So we can get you up and running on the platform, signed up, everything's approved, and you're ready to compete. You can get in touch with us in a number of ways. If you already heard about today's webinar through one of the WhatsApp groups or the various channels of communication, please use that. If you don't have our contact details, you can email us on the emails provided in the chat. So that's tahmid@launchgood.com, imran@launchgood.com, or adil@launchgood.com. So with that, I'll end, and as we finish, we'll go back to the video for those of you that may have missed it at the beginning. All of these resources are available, and we can share the resource pack directly with you. You just need to ask. So we're more than happy to provide what we've shared and continue supporting you through the rest of Rasul week and beyond. So Jazakumullah khairan for spending this portion of your evening with us, and I hope to hear from all of you very, very soon. Take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.